the panel, The Rise and Rise of Cloud Kitchens. We have a bunch of guys who've played both sides of the game as panelists. Let me welcome them on stage. First to come, Kumar Katra, founder Cloud Kitch, came all the way from Singapore. Ramchandar Raman, known as one of the older phases of F&B in Bangalore, once with Coffee Day. Now the entrepreneurial bug has bit him and he's a cloud kitchen man, heading Nucleus Kitchens. Biraj, the man who created India's own burger. Gautam has Cloud Kitchens, I think one of the earliest setup of Cloud Kitchens in India, I think 2012-13. And last, a man with a fairly heavy jacket, Biplab from Rebel Foods. He heads M&A there. He's covering his wallet, his checkbook and everything. Welcome on board, gentlemen. Please take your seats and share the mics. Can you guys see him at the back? You can, thank you. Good afternoon again. A topic which has been of relevance to all of us. Many of us made money, many of us failed. People like me made money as advisors. Gentlemen here has made money from investors. The title of the topic itself, Cloud Kitchen, raises a lot of eyebrows. We were actually catching up outside and people said, listen, even investors don't know what is really a cloud kitchen here. That's a kind of perception which is there in the industry. Is it actually something which is an infrastructure game at the back end, someone's cooking something for you? Is it a technology product? Or is it actually a brand called Cloud Kitchen brand? We'll try to hear all this from the gentleman on stage. So how many cloud kitchens do you have in India? About 1,000 plus? Roughly? Right? 10,000 restaurants? Isn't that the scale?
Probably 10,000.
10,000 restaurants, 1,000 cloud kitchens just in this country. Number of entrepreneurs in the past 3 years, I would say, I'm just putting the past 3 years purely because of the opportunity which came up. This is just a very small fraction in this audience and on stage who is actually building their career on this industry, and then the employment, right? 1,000 kitchens, I'm presuming a 14-hour working schedule, 2 shifts, a number of trained people who are actually working in a SOP-driven kitchen model. A sub-industry is being created here thanks to the food delivery business in the world, isn't it? A sub-industry, I'm calling it a sub-industry because it's still taking its real form. Unit economics are getting fine-tuned. But the dependency on this new model, thanks, there are examples globally, but the dependency on this model across India, even the larger brands, the brands we all knew and grew up, are relying on them for a wider reach in the country. With that, let me just pause and take about 5 minutes so that you get to know our panelists a little more better. Maybe a minute of your introductions on what you guys are doing now. Over to you, Kumar.
Thank you. My name is Kumar Katra. I'm founder of Cloud Kitch. We are a food tech company. We aggregate food at work for corporates, co-working, and co-living companies. We originated as a Cloud Kitch infrastructure business, and we quickly realized that there is enough infrastructure, there is no need for more infrastructure, and we switched to technology. That's what we do for a living now. Thank you.
Hey, that's not an after-lunch introduction. So you told me 2001, Bombay railway station, you started your first cloud kitchen.
It was the first robotic QSR brand called Desi Deli at Bombay Central. It was the, in those days in 2001, we used to produce...
2001, 2 decades ago.
2 decades.
Okay.
So it was a kitchen which produced probably 1,000 uttappams, same color, size, shape, every day, consistently
and
for
who
40
ate
days. All the travelers on the train.
Any Bombay travelers?
Bombay travelers, if you've seen those guys. McDonald's and Desi Deli were together. As a concept, we built the first cloud kitchen. Incidentally, this project was funded by the likes of Pepsi's, Unilever's, and I built that business. Very, very sadly, in 40 days, we had to die. So that's what happened to us. Not because the business didn't do well. We had a terrorist attack on our outlet, and we had to shut that down. what we heard from the cops is that the guys who planted the bomb, we had a serial bomb blast in Bombay in those days. It was, this Desi Delhi was treated, I mean, they thought Desi Delhi was more American than it was Indian, and that's why we were targeted. That's a funny story, but yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ram, and I head a company called Nucleus Kitchens, which is part of Mukunda Foods. Nucleus Kitchen is a kitchen as a service model where we develop automated kitchens and we help other brands to grow up and scale. In our kitchens, we have multiple locations, so that's our business for right now.
So young brands who want to scale up, you are the man.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Brad.
Hello everyone, I'm Biraj Prasad and I own a brand called Biggie's Burger. So we started in 2011 and today we are the largest homegrown burger chain of the country. And we envision, we are at 80 plus locations today at 23 cities and we envision to be the McD of India with grilled burger segment. Yeah.
Maggie of India. That's a nice phrase.
Hi, my name is Gautam. I am one of the founders of a company called Cozina. We operate multi-brand cloud kitchens across the country in certain categories that we have chosen. One of them is bakery, where we run a brand called Warm Oven, and a rolls brand called Carty Zone, and a number of other brands.
Hi everyone, my name is Biplab Chakraborty. I represent a company called Rebel Foods. We run more than 4,000 Indian restaurants all over the country, 450 plus kitchens, present in 70 plus cities. We partner with many interesting brands like Naturals Ice Cream, Madover Donuts, Anand Sweets. We're always on the lookout of interesting brands to partner with, and thanks for having us here.
Thank you, gentlemen. Incidentally, I was in Dubai last week, and one of my relatives there said we have a new brand of biryani, Dubai-based. They served the brand to me, Bearhouse. So cross-border is also another key play for our cloud kitchen brands, which is, I was really feeling proud. As it interesting, they didn't even know it's an Indian brand, and the acceptance of that brand globally. Now, let's get into the topic. So I'll first go with Gautam, one of the ones who started this earlier.
I'm the lucky one, yeah, thank you.
If it were to explain to a 10 standard student what is a cloud kitchen, how would you answer?
Good one. So, I mean, fundamentally, cloud kitchen is a very clouded phrase, right? I think people use it in multiple contexts. In my mind, there are only two variations of it. You are either a real estate player, think of it like a food court operator who just gives you the real estate, and you as a food company like a McDonald's, right, or McDonald's of India, can come and use that space to run your brand, right? That is one variation of what people call a cloud kitchen. Other is what we do, what folks at Rebel do. We are a food company. In some sense, we are a I mean, in Bangalore, we've all seen Andhra-style multi-cuisine restaurants, right, where you would get everything from a pizza to Andhra thali to desserts. Our kitchens are like that, but you can't walk in. You would find different manifestations of the kitchen online, right? I'll call my burger a Biggie's Burger. I'll call my rolls brand a Carty Zone, or I'll call my cake brand Warm Oven. But all of these come from the same premises, and the company that operates this premises is actually the company which is preparing the food. So there's a real estate infrastructure player, and there is a food business operator. This is the way I would explain to a 10th standard person. Unfortunately, there's nobody here, so I hope I'm right.
So that's your way. Let me hear from Kumar. You may or may not agree, because you treat yourself as a specialist technology company. That's why I'm coming to you for this. Rather counter him, just for the benefit of countering.
Is that so? I mean, he's an expert in the kitchens. I don't run the kitchens, but my version of cloud kitchens is slightly different. People call it dark kitchens, which I don't like. Food is divine. Dark is not the right word for it. Cloud kitchens essentially are not new. They have been in existence for over 100 years. If you've ever traveled on aircrafts, anybody? I guess, yes. So flight kitchens are a version of cloud kitchen, right? So central kitchens are a version of cloud kitchen. My first training in a kitchen was in Marseille, which catered to schools of the entire city of Marseille. That was way back in 96. Okay, so the kitchens would call the central kitchen and say, today feed 100 kids. So we were collecting orders on phones. Now they collect orders on internet. That's the variation, difference in the variation. Thank you.
Interesting. You call me as a moderator, you have to listen to me as well, isn't it? My view. They are experts, I'm just a moderator. I'll ask Ram to counter me if you think so. So I think all of us, no joke, seriously. I think all of us confuse Cloud Kitchen and Cloud Kitchen brands in any context we're talking about here, right? Cloud Kitchen supports internet-only brands. Central Kitchen, Dark Kitchen support outlets. People who have outlets and internet brands come from the same kitchen. I think today the world, at least in India, it's getting into a pure mesh where there is a total efficiency-driven kitchen story. You call it cloud, you call it central kitchen, you call it dark kitchen. End of the day, there is a huge efficiency share happening at one place, which is sophisticated. I was just telling these gentlemen, I had the opportunity to go to one of the largest cloud kitchens in the Middle East. And then there is a check of the depth of food to the lid of a box to see whether the depth is consistent. No weight, no recipe, no food, that's all a given. From the time you close the lid till the time the box reaches a customer, how much is the expansion or reduction of the food quantity? There is a measure. That's the kind of sophistication the world is moving. I'm sure people like you are doing similar or even more. So it's not just what we all thought as a back-end kitchen of a QSR restaurant. I believe gentlemen like these have invested heavily in culinary innovation as well as food tech to build something which is a tech-driven industry. Ram, over to you. Your views, when you started setting this up, there are entrepreneurs here who are already in this business who want to set up. You were a food culinary specialist. Now you're getting into food tech and cloud kitchen. Your journey quickly, so that for all of us to understand 0 to 1 of a cloud kitchen.
So I think the definition of commissary, there is a commissary and then there is a kitchen where a customer can reach, but he cannot see the kitchen. I think that's one way I look at it. And so what we try to do is there are passionate brand owners who have 1 or 2 outlets and then they want to scale up. They have to go through the whole process, finding places, raising money, OPEX, training. So we take all that stuff. We say, we are the experts, we have the automated equipment, we have the culinary expertise. You just have to, create the demand and then we take care of the rest. Of course, we do this where there is efficiencies brought in, labor costs reduced because we are spreading this cost against many brands, which makes the whole, as you said, there is no barriers to open restaurants, but scaling up is difficult. Where we come in is we're helping them to grow so that with these complex operation levels removed from the brand owner, we help them so they can scale up faster to 50, 100 outlets in a short period of time. So that's the expertise we bring in.
Interesting. Biraja, you had a view while you were catching up outside. You said it's not very easy, isn't it? So let the crowd know what's not very easy.
So we have been primarily an offline brand from day one. From the inception, we have been selling burgers for the walk-in consumers. But in the product design, the whole concept has been, the perception of the concept was designed in such a way that anyone walks in, we give them a physical product with the service attached to it. For a brand like us, cloud is a very new space, but fortunately, it has given us the wings to spread our products to people who we are not able to reach. So today, let's say a remote area of Bangalore where we need not to spend a lot of amount on a capex, we are reaching out to them through Cloud Kitchen with a low capex, but everyone thinks that it's an easy way to earn out of it. But with cloud, the moment we add cloud to food, it's no more about recipe, no more about taste profile or everything. It's beyond that. You need to have the funnel ready. You need to have the unit economics very strong with you. Making profit out of Cloud Kitchen is definitely a challenge, and it happens only through volume is what I feel. And with the right calculation.
Interesting. I have 25 minutes to go. And I want to touch upon 2 strands for sure. One strand is a typical strand which, gentlemen, you should answer for the crowd, which is about the money making. The other strand is about Cloud Kitchen brands I would rather touch upon that as well because obviously there are at least two panelists here who specialize in that space, and I would rather start with Biplab. Tell us a customer story here. I mean, we are talking cloud kitchen infrastructure setup. We'll come to that a little later. Tell us a customer story, the evolution of all of us in this room and the rest of India in the past, say, 4 years. How did we evolve because of players like you?
Probably I'll go a little bit further back in time. So if we all cast our mind back, let's say 10 years, right? We had a brand called Fasos, right? What we experienced was the growth was very strong, but the profitability was the challenge, right? And then we kind of figured out that most of the people who were ordering on the phone. Very few people were actually walking into our outlets and ordering Fasos. So obviously that set us thinking, right? And then we did a survey and we found more than 70% of our customers had never even once visited our outlet. So that, I guess, set us all thinking that, hey, maybe there's something to it, and what do we do about it, right? So what we did was, we opened a larger kitchen in the same area, which obviously gave more comfort to our employees. They had bigger space to work from. And the rent was significantly lower. The rent to sales, I think, just plummeted, right? So that set us thinking, maybe there's something to it, and we should probably really harness this new way of reaching our customers. The other thing I think we realized over a period of time was, now that we had a fairly large kitchen, why only Fasos, right? We started then a biryani brand called Behrouz Biryani. We went into oven story pizza, and there are several stories around it. But coming to your question, I think that has been the evolution, right? If I have to keep searching for a high street location, that's just an added, a concern for me as somebody who runs the business. And then there's the other question factor called location fatigue, right? So it's not just always being on the lookout for marquee properties in high streets, but also figuring out how do I take care of location fatigue. So with this entire cloud kitchen model, we effectively kind of took those 2 pointers or those 2 factors totally out of the equation. So at least from a Rebel perspective, I think that has been a journey in itself, and some learnings that we have picked up along the way.
So stay on the thread, both Gautam and Abhiraj. I just want to pick up this little human psychology part of it. See, all of us knew the brands we have gone to and we were comfortable ordering it back home. There was an element of visual, physical reinforcement to us. I'm not taking any names, but a KFC burger, how does it look, how does it taste, I knew. And come this new world, Indian customers were openly buying products which they have never seen before. And you guys have built some element of a latent trust in us. How did that happen to all of us? Gautam, maybe you, and then Biraj, please. Mike.
Sure. I mean, I think our journey also started very similarly as Biplab was narrating, right? I'm sure all of you have celebrated birthdays with cakes. Have you? I mean, just a show of hands would be helpful. Great. I mean, first time I've seen 100% hands lifted in any such session. Yeah. How many of you have cut a cake in a cake shop? Fantastic. Nobody. Oh, wow. I want to meet you after the panel. I've been looking for you for the last 8 years, right? So we started with a cake brand called Warm Oven on the simple insight that cake is a product that you would never consume in a cake shop. You would either buy it in a cake shop, carry it home, or somebody, except for this lady down here. Everybody else consumes cakes at a different venue as compared to the cake shop. So that's how we started. So it was meant for delivery or takeaway, for that matter, right? Now, how do you build a brand over a period of time when you don't have a physical touch point with the consumer, right? One, I think for us, there was a natural advantage in the category that we operated because the product led itself to a strong story. If I gave you a great product for your birthday, a cake for your birthday, I'm sure you would talk about it. You would anyway invite 10 more people to cut the cake. So slowly the brand was built ground up, right? Now fast forward today, I think as compared to let's say 10 years ago, I mean brand is a very abstract notion, right? What is a brand? I mean I still don't know what it actually means, right? But in the world of internet, brands have become measurable, right? If you go to a Google, you'll find a score. Lalit Asok will have a score, a rating, right? If you go on a Swiggy or a Zomato, Warm Oven would have a rating. In my mind, I think that's how brand gets built in this today's digital age where consumer is rating you, right? Compared to how it used to be earlier, KFC burger, somebody tells you it's good or bad, and you have a certain representation of the KFC burger in your head. But today, Biggie's burger, there's a score against it. And that is the brand in my mind. It's a trust. I mean, it's a mark of trust which is now measured.
Raj, your view?
So we started in 2011. Then I believe there were hardly any Indian burger brand. So we have been into the ecosystem of selling burgers probably for the 10 or 11th years. So at that point of time, pizza was a homemade product everywhere it was there, and today it has been Indianized a lot. But when we started, we had to take a lot of pain to make understand that this is not a vada pav, this is a burger, and that there is a substantial difference between those products. But today, I think the awareness of burger is with everyone. So on the course of seeing the whole change of acceptance of this product, what we have done is we have designed a lot of products around it. So, and we cannot keep all those products in our offline menu because offline menu has to be crisp, clear, and a short menu. So, on the course of developing those things, adopting SOPs into the ecosystem because we are a franchise model and we run 100% franchising. So, in that, it's very primary that we need to have SOPs in place so that there is a very minimal thing that can be disturbed at the franchise's end. So, that has been there from the day one, from the inception. So, those two things has helped us to diversify ourselves into a cloud format. So in a cloud format, what happens, we find a lot of people who are ordering burgers every second day or a third day, and they don't come to store very often. So it's more of a commodity sort of thing where burger is replacing their chapatis or their existing products. So in that segment, what happens, the product design plays a vital role where the price parity, the quantity of the product plays a vital role. So typically, we have designed very nicely about the catalog or the portfolio, what we sell over offline and what we sell over online. And that is again dynamic as per the demographic. So I think for us, cloud has been, the space of cloud has been very challenging, and it has made us learn a lot. And pretty much, I believe, within a span of 2 years of dedicated time into cloud space, we have been selling, our top line as a brand has increased by 30-40% only through cloud sales. So this is an incremental sales for us because we knew how to survive through offline sales. And this online sales has given us a wing to fly in terms of brand awareness or brand recognition or generating more revenue as well. It is just about the bottom line that we are cautiously playing today.
I'll come to the bottom line.
Can I make a
Please.
quick point here? A story from our history. To your question on brands. So Fasos obviously was a very well-known brand we had, and then we decided we'll start a pizza, right? And when we started pizza, we really didn't find a lot of traction because people used to associate Fasos with wraps and rolls. That was the brand association. To your question, how difficult or easy it is, in the online world. So then I think we use that insight saying, hey, you know what? People are associating Fasos only with wraps and rolls. Then we started, with a new brand called Oven Story. And then the sales just kept shooting through the roof. So it's obviously a challenge in the online world where there's no physical interaction with the brand that you have. But yeah, I think that's one way at least, if we go back in our history, that's one way at least we have kind of tried to tie the product category to the brand.
So I'll still keep that thread on. So people like me built a career on the discount-led business in the country. Initially, we all adopted e-commerce. It was an interesting discount on most of the items. You agree or not? I believe so. Now, when you come to cloud kitchen brands, is discount leading the online orders, or is there a strong connect like what Biraja said, that okay, I'm commoditizing burger, or there is something else? I've never seen a Bero's biryani being I'm talking on your behalf, being a discounted product, right? So maybe just shed some light. Is this new world not akin to the e-commerce world? It's slightly different. I want to hear that view, if it's true. You can start, Biplab, to start.
I'll start with Bero's, I guess, since you mentioned it.
Answer yes or no first. Please say no.
Yeah, I mean, so let me come to it first. See, if you think about a brand like Bero's, we associated that with celebration, right?
Celebration,
right?
Sorry, lift it up a little.
Yes, I'm sorry. Am I audible, guys? So we associate, at least, we want people to associate Bero's biryani with celebration. There's a nice occasion you want to celebrate with Bero's, right? So at least in the mind of the customer, we want it to be, quote unquote, a premium product, right? So as far as discounting is concerned, we don't believe that's the right way to go, at least for brands like Bero's. And I don't want to speak about others, but I'm sure, at least from our perspective, that definitely is not a driver for a brand like Bero's. Yeah.
No, I think now that he's competing with me for a celebration, I would have to take a counterpoint of you. No, I think, jokes aside, I think each brand has its own positioning. Obviously, the way we look at it across our portfolio, my cake brand, which is Warm Oven, we do play around with discounts because that's what the platforms, unfortunately, drive you to do. I mean, discount is in some sense a marketing expense when you sell through Swiggy and Zomato. So while I would like to not give any discount, unfortunately, the current state of the ecosystem makes you discount it, right? And like with every ecosystem, I think it will mature at some point in time, and the discounts will slowly start to fade away like they have done in the e-commerce world. On the other hand, there are certain brands where we do play aggressively on discounts because our model is all about, in some sense, sweating the same asset, which is the kitchen, and increasing the volume from the kitchen. So on the one end of the spectrum, we play in very high AOV categories like cakes, and the other end of the spectrum, we play in low AOV categories where we drive up the volume. So the gist of it is that while, yes, I would like to avoid discounts, I think today's market ecosystem, unfortunately, doesn't support it. So you have to do discounts to get the visibility on the platforms.
So as a brand, I believe it's, as Gautam told about the positioning of the product. So with Biggies, we are positioning as grilled product, and we don't want to give grilled product as a discounted pricing to customers. But as we are located at a lot of T4, T3, and a lot of cities where discounting plays a vital role, and that's an entry barrier. If you don't have a discount, people may not order. So typically on the life cycle of establishing ourselves to a fixed rating or a fixed revenue, initial phase, we put discounting on. And at that point of time, we play with the product catalog as well. And as and when that gets matured, we again revamp our catalog and come up with gourmet products or niche products which we want to sell to the consumer. And nonetheless, typically we are also working on creating a sub-brand which will be catering to discount-oriented consumers or value consumers in a mass. So definitely, yeah, my say is whatever the customer demand, as per the demographics there, we have to cater to it.
I think it's a very fair point because someone else also mentioned the same thing about the tier 2 towns in India, and the reason to order many a time is a discount available. Maybe Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay, the rest of NCR were like that maybe 5 years back. But today I'm presuming, from what you hear in my experience, that there is still a set of, say, 30 million people in India who are not necessarily discount-led. They like discounts. All of us like discounts, right? They may not be discount-led to choose between your burger or his burger. Right. You both may be the same price. You are 10% lesser, so I buy you. That maturity, possibly, in the e-commerce pyramid in India, there is at least 30 to 50 million people who would have possibly graduated. Do you guys agree to that?
I think in recent times, because of some gourmet brands, the people have a notion that if they are giving discount, they are compromising on the quality of the product. So that type of consumer segment has also increased, because earlier those type of consumer segment was coming to the store and buying the product, but today they are okay to order it. So typically it completely depends on what typography of consumer that you are catering to, and the product has to be. So typically, over online, it is not only about the product, it is about the discounting structure, it is about the packaging, it's about the catalog, it's about everything. So we have to play a right rational mix of it at every aspect. Yeah.
You guys agree?
So I do not agree with the price differentiation for sure, because I can give you the worst cake at 100 rupees or the best cake at 500 rupees. That's the range in which the price generally works. And any customer in their right mind would pick the best cake at 500 rupees. Food is such a, you're not buying a 50,000, 1 lakh rupee smart TV there where you're going to shop around for price. And like Biraj says, discount, unfortunately, current state of the ecosystem requires you to do discount. But one of the advantages in the online model is you can play around with the discounts based on the not even the city, by the micro market. In Bangalore, an electronic city versus a HSR layout for a Whitefield, the demographics are so different that you can have different discounting structures. So fundamentally, discount is the current necessity in the market. Hopefully Swiggy and Zomato at some point in time will push towards rationalization, and we all can be happy at that point in time, at least the folks in this room. Price, I don't think there's any reason to really change the price, because we are talking about average ticket size of 250 to 300 rupees. And the consumer who transacts from Cloud Kitchen brands is doing it from a 30 or a 40,000 smartphone, right? So if the guy is going to shop around price, there's something fundamentally wrong.
Interesting one. So now I'll come to both of you. So for all these gentlemen and many others in the audience to give that discount, or even more discounts, we all love discounts. You're a neutral man here. That's why I'm going to corner you on this, right? They may choose to agree, disagree. Let's do a build-up of a Cloud Kitchen's unit economics.
Sure.
You agree?
Sure. I mean, yes, absolutely. But there are 2 points here. I mean, our market is so large. We're talking about 1 billion people in India. There will be a segment, okay? There will be a discount segment. There will be a value segment. There will be also a premium segment. It depends on which market you're playing at, right? So I don't think if you're going to buy a diamond ring, you're going to look for a discount. You know, you're agnostic. You want to buy a diamond.
India, they do. But yeah.
Yeah, they do. That's right. But the fact is that we have clients who are agnostic. They don't care about discount. They want an experience, right? So even I'm talking more of a corporate segment. We did a couple of weeks back, we did a catering for 20 packs event, and that event was at 15,000 bucks per head, right? So
it's a different category altogether, isn't it?
Different category. They don't care about discount, so they wanted to get an experience, right? So here, probably there would be a day when there will be cloud kitchens serving an experience more than serving a packed meal. So probably that segment would change. Not sure if you agree, disagree on that, but this is where might go there.
I don't agree with the fact that a cloud kitchen would serve an experience. Fundamentally, if you look at the history of the food industry, there are only 2 kinds of models. There's a fine dine where you come to an Ashok, you sit down, they'll serve you. There's a really good chef who makes everything from scratch, and you pay 2,000, 3,000 rupees for it. Whereas a delivery-led model, somebody prepares it in a kitchen, you're sitting at home, the food comes to you in half an hour. The experience is not necessarily comparable. So it's similar to a fine dine versus a QSR. Cloud kitchen is basically a new version of a QSR. It's a scalable food business which has never existed before. So I do not think, unless Biplab from their experience can differ with me, Cloud Kitchen is more about convenience, delivery to your home, and not about experience.
No, I mean,
Let's hear
I
Biplab on that, and
just
then we'll
one
go to the
point,
next
without being specific on brands or anything. I mean, I think in general, what at least we have seen even in the past, is right. Discounting sometimes helps build the category, right? Historically, we all used to dine in. I don't think there were any cloud kitchens or delivery, right? So from that perspective, discounting does have a role to play. Without getting into brands and who is doing it or who is not, I think in general, discounting, the stage of evolution probably where we are in India, discounting does have a role to play to build the category.
Sure. I'm not letting you go. You digress my question.
Sure.
Right? There are many entrepreneurs here thinking of starting F&B brands. I know at least 2 of them in front of us. So let's do a stack up. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to build a biryani brand. A lot of talk about biryani. I think there was a presentation also, right? I have my concept, I have my idea, I have my menu, I have my ingredients. I come to you, or both of you, if you're one company. Let's do a stack up. I'll just tell some numbers, you may agree, disagree. 20%, 25% cost of food. Earlier, whatever was rent, cut down by 10% because it's cloud, plus employee, plus XYZ. Do I make money?
It's a very, very large and very diverse, very general question. There is a threshold in this industry, right? So if you want to look at the unit economics, right? So some people say in a cloud kitchen business at 10 lakhs.
Panelists have just taken the mic when I said this, okay? It was there, right. It was down. Anyways, continue.
I keep you guys out. I'm talking of a cloud kitchen, your internet business. So the threshold of 10 lakhs, if you achieve that threshold of 10 lakhs, that's your break-even point. I'm just giving you a hypothetical number. But what happens is the moment you get to an incremental 1 lakh, that 10 lakh sales become 11 lakh, then it starts making sense to you. Your margins go up several basis points. The moment that 10 lakh, which was your break-even point, now from the same unit, if you're able to deliver 12 lakhs, your margins will double, okay, because all your costs are paid for, right? So there's a concept of fixed cost and variable cost. If you get it right, it doesn't matter if your sale is 1 lakh or 10 lakh. It's about what your margin will look like when you cross that threshold and how quickly can you cross that threshold. If you take 2 years to cross that threshold, you will always be at a negative bottom line. You'll never get to the next level. The second point I'd like to make there is it's about scale. Okay, they're all after scale, right? So it doesn't matter if one of your units is not able to cross that threshold. It's about a portfolio, right? It's a portfolio story. If you ever invest in mutual funds and buy stocks, okay, this is the same business. It's not any different. If you build a portfolio, you might be able to win faster and make better margins compared to if you try to say, okay, I'm going to do one kitchen here and one there and think about it next year. Probably you're not in the right scalable model then. I hope that answers.
Interesting. I'll just pause you. I mean, paraphrasing it to the business of traditional F&B, where number of seats actually decided, and the number of roles of customers actually decided your revenue, irrespective of your quality of menu. Here you're talking about a simple concept of capacity utilization. You can have as many as you want. I think when I started, I said 14-hour shifts. I don't know whether they agree. But 14-hour shifts globally is a benchmark for cloud kitchens. And how much you can produce in 14 hours can you sell is a reverse problem, right? If you can sell those many, you make even more money, right?
So interestingly, why would you work for 14 hours when your kitchen, you're paying for your cost for 24 hours? Why don't you work 24 hours, right? So the whole concept is how much more can you utilize from your existing capacity? And our current business is about helping restaurants, cloud kitchens, hotels utilize their spare capacity. That's where our model comes into play. I'm not marketing my business, but literally you have to think about why am I using my kitchen for 8, 10, 12 hours? Actually not 14 hours. Your kitchen is operating for 14 hours, but your delivery orders are between 12 and 3, probably 8 and 12. You're utilizing 14 hours of resources and actually serving capacity for 7 hours. So that's a model which you should be aware of. And clearly come to us if you need help in understanding how to utilize your spare capacity. I think that will make a huge difference to how the cloud kitchen space is evolving.
Ram, over to you. We have done this again 0 to 1. A little more detail about the unit economics in your model? You're a service provider. You're not yet an internet brand, right?
Correct.
So from your perspective, let's talk the money game.
So here again, if you have to if a single brand has to open up a kitchen, right? I mean, he has to keep it open. He has to have manpower. But as he said, it's not used during the entire day. So in our model, we onboard multiple brands, and based on what is the product they're selling, we try to maximum utilization of the equipment, the day parts, so that the equipment is used throughout the day, manpower is used throughout the day. Otherwise, if you onboard, I mean, the same 7 to 9 and 4 hours, 2 hours of lunch, 2 hours of dinner, the rest of the day people are just standing. But our onboarding of brands and such that the equipment is used throughout the day. Also, the cost is divided among 6 brands. Just with additional small manpower, I can do more brands. If you had a single brand, then you have to have 3 or 4 people cover their shifts, holidays. So there is so much of wastage. So all these efficiencies are decreased, and hence I'm able to pass on those benefits to the brands, and so they are able to make the monies.
And what is that money?
Well, it depends. See, again, you have to reach a scale. In our model, the sooner there is a threshold, and beyond that, then the savings are there and it is transferred to them. There is an MG guarantee, and then there is a minimum revenue they have to generate. But those things come faster because there are multiple brands. It's not relying on one brand itself.
I understand.
Just to add to the previous chain of thing, you said the customer evolution. Back in my previous company, a very small coffee company.
There
right?
comes coffee.
So we started delivery business long back in 2009. We thought that was, it was a rage in the US, so that we will be the first ones to have. We had a complete setup, SOPs, packaging, and we didn't get a single order for like days. And then the platform aggregators came. Then it became a discount game. I mean, and even in the CCD, we used to, when we had a discount of 50%, our sales would quadruple. The minute you remove the discount, it'll back to minimal. But I think post-COVID, the habits have changed. Now, people see it as a convenience, not as a discount. And I think the key importance is the product has to be good. Everybody's lifestyle has changed. Now you order more. It's not fighting with the dine-in, but it's fighting with the in-house consumption. Nobody wants to cook food anymore. It happens in our house. I mean, through the week, we are ordering 3 to 4 times. And if the product is good, we are not looking for discounts. We know what brand we want. The family likes it. So discount is for a start, but if the product is good, I think that's where you get your sales from.
Interesting. Back to the cloud kitchen, gentlemen. To you guys. So, yeah, just as industry practitioners, not as people representing the brand, let's have a quick conversation. So if I say that a cloud kitchen mature scenario for a brand, mature scenario is that you have identified what is the catchment area, how much you make, plus or minus. I'm told a benefit of a 10 to 15% is what investors look for. If you're a cloud kitchen brand in comparison with a similar brand in an F&B QSR space, is that a fair statement?
I would say
Yep.
10 to 15% is a number that we should thrive for.
Okay.
But to achieve that number, typically...
I said steady state.
It's at a steady state, but I believe very minimal things are in your hand. Typically, aggregators will take a fixed percentage.
Correct.
Food cost at this inflation there is no cap to it. It has increased already. So typically, there are very few metrics that you can play around, which is your real estate, your manpower, your utility, and discounting. So typically, discounting gets matured over a period of time, and you can reduce it.
And Kumar said 24-hour shifts. Do you agree?
I agree to that. I
Wow.
agree to that 100% because we have to sweat our thing, and we have to generate incremental revenue per square feet of the kitchen. So when it comes to the 3 parameters, typically for a player like us who is an offline-centric player, to become a cloud kitchen player in a mass, in a scale, we need support from multiple players who are into the ecosystem. So let's say someone who is providing the real estate, someone who is providing the automated kitchen, because without them, scaling it up, because it's all about volume game. So let's say in an offline kitchen, we are doing 100 numbers of KOTs, that's sufficient. But for a cloud space, the number can be very high. And to have the scalability, sustainability, tech has to play a vital role into it. And I believe if you can tap that and if you can formulate that, then the profitability comes into picture.
Interesting. Gentlemen, agree?
Yeah, I think I would agree with both what Ram said and Biraja said. I think Cloud Kitchen is like a mini factory in some sense, right? I think most of the telephones in the world get manufactured in a factory of a company called Foxconn. Just the sticker is different, and based on the sticker, you pay 50,000 if it's an iPhone and 20,000 if it's an Android phone, right? But that factory is running throughout. There are different assembly lines, one for a iPhone, one for an Android phone, so on and so forth, right? So if you now take that analogy from that parallel world into the food industry, we are running multiple assembly lines. The kitchen will run for as long as possible. And the more volume you get out of the kitchen, the more profitable the kitchen tends to become, because your fixed costs, which is the rent, the people costs, largely remain the same. They don't increase directly with the volume. Right? So yeah, I think that's the only way to make a cloud kitchen play sustainable and profitable over a period of time.
Yeah, I think I'll bring in a few different things that we have seen. One is obviously, at our scale, supply chain is something that over a period of time we have built, and we really know how to source and warehouse and, how to move it through all parts of India, right? So that also is one of the key cost items, which I think we just have that benefit because we have been doing it for a while, and also because of the scale. The other thing is the tech side of things, which is both the software and the hardware, right? If I think right from inventory through the kitchen management, right through demand management and fulfillment. So the entire chain, if I may think through it, tech, something that we keep investing in on a regular basis. That also plays a huge role in kind of improving the unit economics, if I may, right? And the third thing that we have done is also look at the culinary excellence side of it and try to make it as simple as possible in terms of, the menus. And so for example, last week I went into one of the kitchens and made something, right? And it turned out just fine, because now we have broken down the menus into very simple to understand SOP steps, right? That, hey, you know what? If there's a noodles with Shanghai chicken to be made, this is what you put at this point in time in this quantity, right? So you kind of take out the dependency on, I'm not saying you fully automate it. Obviously, there'll be a human intervention, but somebody, as novice as me, probably can also step into a kitchen and make it. So I think those are some of the things we have been doing, and hopefully it's working towards improving our water.
Just music to my ears. I had a very similar experience of a so-called high-tech cloud kitchen where you're treated like a dumb man in the front of a screen which monitors what you do. And you take a photograph to show the screen whether I'm right or wrong on the way I've proceeded in the steps of making a dish. And there's a timer, and I compete with every other chef of the cloud kitchen company across this country. And then there are points given to me on the speed and on the compliance to what is the SOP on a photograph which is taken on what I do. I was like, this is not even 5-star class. This is far beyond that, right? So automatically, I think there's I totally agreed. I mean, you guys use the word operating system, right? So, yeah, no, operating system. They use a rebel operating system.
We call it the rebel operating system.
And others use the word playbook. But I think there is a lot of investment which I think people like you have done in this space, though I started off this conversation with just pure money. But I think the efficiency is what is driving the unit economics to start with, and not just a rental cut. To totally understand that space. We have a little time left. Mini, or the organizers, do we have audience questions as a practice, or no? Any of the organizers here? One or two. Okay, please hold your questions back. I'll come back to you guys. So thought for you guys before we wind up. Oh, what is it, sound? Oh, okay, I have 2 minutes. The next wave of what this business is supposed to be are people who are going to go to school after 3 years. Roughly 50 million students, where parents are willing to spend more money on their lunch boxes, are going to go to school hopefully by next month. right? Most schools are inefficient from their real estate utilization. Is this a new world?
I think as an industry, we should definitely be open to different operating structures and models.
And when it comes to children, generally people don't look at discounts, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess probably you're right.
So think through.
Something to think about.
Moderators, last words to you. Think about these 50 million kids who are going to go to school. 50 million is a small number. I mean, obviously there are far more. And the work from home dad and mom may not have time to pack their lunches. Think about it. Questions to the audience. Yes, there. I don't know whether there are mics, but we have 2 minutes, so I can take 2 questions. Quick. Who do you want to ask also, please?
Hi, this is Mayur. I have a question to all the panelists. I have a vision to build a cloud kitchen brand, but I really don't know where to start, how to get started, because I come from a different stockbroking background, but now I have a vision to build a cloud kitchen. So where do I get started? I have zero idea about it.
Kumar.
You can speak to me offline.
Gautam, sorry.
You can catch up with me offline. We do have a partner-led model and happy
That
to
sales
help
pitch,
you.
man.
Look, he didn't market, but he sold his vision. And I'm being very blunt and straight here.
But
Yeah.
answer for the benefit of the crowd, please. Yeah.
No, I mean, like he was saying, pick up a cuisine, start a small kitchen. The barriers to entry in the food industry that way are relatively low. That's why you have so many restaurants mushrooming. Pick what you like, find somebody who can make the cuisine. There are enough recipes on the internet, and you just start off there. And then once it starts to give some volume, then you worry about all of these gyan that all of us have told you, right? I mean, that's how we started. We did not come from the food industry. We thought cake was a good category. We found a few people who could make cake and started selling online. And over a period of time, we've certainly come a long way.
Just to help you with that, I mean, there are many of the layers which are now outsourceable. You just need to have the idea. That's my take of it. Right from sourcing partners to supply chain partners to warehousing partners to quality control partners to gentlemen like these on stage, they all are available as a service. But get your idea right, as Gautam said, what is the space I'm going to operate? The rest, I think India has maturity, at least in the 6 cities in the country. I think I saw a hand at the back. Yeah, that's the last question, please.
Thank you so much. Good.
Sorry. Will a mic reach there? Till the time you can ask a question, please. And that'll be the last question. Can you get a mic to them by then?
Hi, a very good afternoon, everybody. So we are from the Estrella Homemates. We are into the cloud kitchen. So first we were the complete pioneers into the brownies, pastries, and now we are expanding into the thali food. As you know, the South Indian food that can be the roti, parathas, and also different types of curries and a lot of rice items. So I would like to know how exactly can we promote our exclusive food for the most upcoming corporate world. You know, we just want to, you know, be addressed by the corporate people who are
Good question.
shifting.
He's the right man.
Shifting their workplace to the office. They're back from home to office. So how can we just make them as a target audience?
Come on. Yours.
Please, thank you so much.
It's going to be a long conversation, but I'll cut it short for you. Let's talk offline. But I'll tell you, it's an interesting business model. Very different from consumer approach. This is a B2B approach. In a consumer approach, you're waiting for one customer to give you an order. In a day, you might have several orders, but in our case, you get several hundred business orders on a daily basis. Your understanding of a consumer and the quantity is very predictable versus quite unpredictable. So those are different concepts you need to think about, and then you tell me which space you want to play in, B2B or B2C. We can talk about that. I hope that answers.
Sure, definitely.
Last
Thank you so
question
much.
at the back. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Santosh. I just want to ask a question. Like everyone have a concept saying that if any food coming from the cloud kitchen, it's not about experience, but we can build an experience giving out good food or premium kind of food with a premium packaging. It also serves as a experience. Like why don't a husband and wife can't have a cloud kitchen food in front of them and make a candlelit dinner? Why only to pay like 2,000 for Lalit Ashok and make their event?
I would request Biplab to answer that. Maybe you started that concept with Beros, but I think he's asking one level higher, please.
No, so maybe again this may sound like I'm speaking with my company, but we have this platform called EatSure. What EatSure does is it lets you order from different restaurant brands, right? So let's think about a family. There are 2 kids, parents, and then maybe elderly mother, right? The elderly mother may need, I don't know, a wrap. The parents may want to have Chinese. The kids may want to have pizza, right? So it's it's an experience in itself. Outside it's raining. You're ordering from EatSure. You get orders from 3 different restaurants in this case, right? And you all sit together because the order is coming in one single order. And you sit together and you have a good time. So I very much agree with you. It's not that you cannot have an experience online. Clearly, this is a family bonding session which you can have using an app like EatSure. So that's my quick response.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
Just
think
have
you
a
wanna say,
cake
please?
along with that. It gets
Have a cake
better.
along with that?
We have a cake too.
Fantastic. Have the best cake.
We thought everybody loves each other, but in a way, all of you are competing as well and making a big industry. This is to be a big industry. The good things, one, there are multiple layers which are being formed. As I said, sourcing partners. We never knew there were sourcing partners before, right? And now, yeah, people specializing in verticals within cloud kitchens. The good thing about this industry, guys, I'll tell you, past 10 years in India, most sub-industries in the internet were born with discounting. I still wish to believe that this is one of the industries which is now going up, and look at their numbers, which is in public domain. They don't look like they are bleed-led. Everybody's bleeding in India. There are losses. But they don't look like they're bleed-led, and they're not giving you money to buy their product. That's my view, right? There is still a strong characterization to cloud kitchen brands in the world, and India has adopted that. Their brands are brands. We're not buying a biryani from one of their platforms. We know which biryani we are buying, right? So the characterization, I think, has led to this industry, and that is one of the fundamental reasons I personally believe that it is still not a discounting-only business. Discounting, as you guys said, is more an industry norm. And your business models are factoring that. Investors are cognizant of it. I come from that background as well. Most people are looking for mature cloud kitchen brands. They're not looking at the size or scale of it, but mature cloud kitchen brands where they've got their fundamental model right. With that, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for the time, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you all.